Chapter 207 of Fairy Tail Hunter's Quest is officially out, and with this, we finally got all the matchups against the Calamity Bloods, and these are some that I wasn't expecting. Well, one of them was entirely expected to a degree, as I expect some more characters to jump into these fights going forward. But we actually had, outside of Erza's fight going on right now, another start to a fight from the previous chapter, and things are getting interesting, as I'm curious to see where things are going to be led into the future, as we might actually have fights with some actual tension. Am I getting my hopes up? Yeah, but again, I love this series, and at the bare minimum I have fun with every single chapter, but the way this chapter led off with one of these fights definitely gives an inkling of some actual tension, and makes me curious to see how things are going to progress going forward. But you know the drill, before we jump into this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, hit the notification bell for updates on future videos. Really helps and it shows you guys enjoy the content I make here on the channel and shows you want to see more. I also have a second channel where I talk about comic books called GW Comics. Link to that will be in the description down below and in the title card. I'm pretty much DC, absolute DC focused right now. I got a couple of videos that I'm personally working on right now in the background to go up on there over the next couple of weeks. So that's something I look forward to releasing and showing to you guys. So I hope you check it out whenever you get the chance. But for right now, let's jump right into the chapter. Chapter 207 of Fairy Tail Hunter's Quest, titled Confronting the Calamity. Cover image is of Lucy cycling. I love this image. Moving on. We begin from last chapter, where Rockbuild is confronting Lucy and Wendy as Wendy is trying to heal up Natsu. Obviously, he wants to eat Natsu, and after looking at Lucy and Wendy, decides, I'm gonna eat these girls too, because he's a dragon and wants to eat any and all meat. He unleashes a big burst of energy, trying to push the two back to basically show his dominance, as Wendy notices that he has some very strong magic. He then raises his hand and commands the earth below him to try and encase Lucy and Wendy into earth so that he can crush them, and it'll be easier for him to devour them, while saying, Mother Earth's the root of my power. So the fight between Lucy, Wendy, and Earthbuild officially begins. Lucy's held still as Earthbuild begins to go up to her and try to literally bite off her head. But then that Lucy opens Virgo's gate as Virgo appears behind her, as Virgo tries to fight against Earthbuild as she dives on the ground and tries to attack him from behind. But right as she tries to land an attack, Rockbuild one-shots Virgo, completely sending her back to the spirit realm as she did absolutely nothing. Now get Lucy's logic here. Use her earth elemental spirit to fight against the earth dragon. Okay, maybe at the bare minimum, she can help get her out of this. Nope. Earthbuild just nonchalantly knocks her back into the spirit world. And remember, Lucy's spirits and turns of strength are proportional to Lucy's own magic power. So if Virgo's getting one shot like this, Lucy at this point is not strong enough to really handle Earthbuild at this moment. And that is insane. Now, reeling from the shock of Virgo getting destroyed, as Virgo is one of her physically strongest spirits, Wendy tries to get Lucy back into the game by telling her to go into her Virgo dress to escape. So Lucy goes into Virgo form, digs a hole, and then does the earth swimming effect, which actually, I think is the first time we actually get to see Lucy just using the earth ability to dig, as she's literally just swimming through the earth. As she then goes around to try and land a surprise attack on Earthbuild, unleashing a kick on his face, but it does nothing. He grabs her ankle and tosses her straight towards Wendy, breaking Wendy out of her restraints, but knocks Lucy out of Virgo form. That would have to be a pretty strong hit to knock Lucy out of a transformation. Lucy's taken a bunch of hits throughout this series. Not many of them have knocked her out of a star dress before, so that is definitely something to take into account. But as the two of them are down, Earthbuild unleashes a bunch of solid earth carved out like knives and launches them at the two of them, his soul cutter, as he cuts up both of them, landing some pretty solid blows. But Wendy tries to use Sky Dragon Wing Attack to try and push back the rest of these knives. She does so, but remember, Earthbuild is an Earth Dragon, so he basically has geokinesis. So even though Wendy pushed back the literal stakes of solid rock carved out like literal pikes, he literally just has to motion his hands and he throws them back at Wendy. And he pins her hands to the mountain behind her, literally basically crucifying Wendy in this instance, making her completely useless. So Wendy right now is pinned to the wall, unable to break free at this point, and is out of the fight for the time being. Meaning Lucy, and by extension Natsu, who's still knocked out, has no healer in this fight, unless Wendy can manage to use some sort of enchantment to break herself free or go into Dragon Force to, force her way out. This is basically Lucy 1v1ing Earth build right now. So we might actually get to see the Mercphobia key used to help fight against Earth build, because unless Wendy uses her enchantments, Lucy won't be able to do any damage without the Dragon Slayer seal, so Lucy will have to rely on Mercphobia and go into potentially a new form with Mercphobia to actually fight Rock build. Which I think this is where this fight is leading us towards, by putting Wendy out of commission for the time being, and Natsu still unconscious. So Lucy versus Earth build is what's going to happen right now, but for the time being, we turn away from them, as we meet up with Laxus and Misfortune, as they're looking through this literal forest chasm of dragon trees and earth that have, maybe for the time being, have stopped moving. But Laxus then noticed that somebody is there, as we then see him look up, and we see Leviatha, the life jail dragon, staring down menacingly at Laxus, with Laxus noticing that he's a dragon based off his scent. So Leviatha's matchup is set against Laxus, and I'm not gonna lie, that's also pretty damn cool. Laxus having a 1v1 against a powerful dragon like Leviatha, who we still don't know his actual abilities just yet, makes me incredibly excited. I am really hoping to see this fight just turn into something really, really epic. Laxus always gets really good fights, even in 100 Years Quest with them being relatively short. The two fights we've had with Laxus thus far have been great. And even in OG Fairy Tail, all of his fights were genuinely great, with the worst one being against Wall of Spring and 12, but even that was a pretty fun fight, based at least for Laxus. Either way, I'm excited for this matchup. But we then cut away to Sorano and Mirajane, as they're navigating this whole area, as they are fully separated from the rest of Team B. Well, at least at this point it's Elfman and Gagiel and the rest of the Sace, as the two of them come face to face with Scissor Runner, the Scissor Sound Dragon, who's just hanging off from his legs like a bat, just muttering to himself that he wants to cut them all up, saying the more beautiful something is, the more I want to snip it to shreds. As Sorano is creeped out by this weirdo, but Mirajane tells Sorano to stay back, because this guy is incredibly powerful and is wondering just how strong his magic is. Now Mira, obviously probably taking Demon's ability from her last fight, probably has more strength in her than we initially thought. But Sorano definitely can't fight at this point, so she's definitely out of the running. But this basically sets us up for the 5th Calamity Blood fight to be between Mirajane and Scissor Runner. Though, I would love to see Gagiel, Cobra, the rest of Sace and Elfman joining this fight, or at the bare minimum, one of the Dragon Slayers coming in to help Mira, and have Elfman join in too, because he's got Alderon's arm now, so he technically has Dragon Slayer properties, or dragon magic, so he can actually deal damage to the guy. So, something has to happen, because Mirajane, even with demon powers, might not be able to do anything to a dragon. Then again, who knows? Demons are a different breed than dragons, and Mirajane isn't using a Zerif demon. She's using a literal demon that are basically created from primordial magic, if I'm getting my facts correct. I gotta double check on some stuff, because we haven't fully explored demons outside of the books of Zerif that she has gained over the series. So Satan's Soul and all the other demon souls that she has, we have to fully explore that and see if there is a way for these things to deal damage to dragons, but I highly doubt it. So we need a Dragon Slayer to join in to help her out, to at least back her up in a fight, or we'll have Mira be the backup when it comes to a bunch of these attacks. Split Scissor Runner's focus. That's something I would like. By the way, it's looking like we're having right now we have 3 1v1s and a few that'll probably be raid bosses. I doubt Mirajane's gonna 1v1 Scissor Runner, but we'll see how this goes. And with that, all the matchups are set for the time being, as we get another confirmation of Erza versus Mother Glare, Lucy versus Earthbuild, Laxus versus Leviatha, and finally we cut back to Anker, the new water dragon, as Juvia, as we all expected, reconstituted herself and Gray from the pile of water that Anker tried to turn them into to one-shot them, which shocks Anker. As Juvia reminds him, yeah, water doesn't really work on me, so your magic's not going to do too much at this point. With Gray now back up in the fight with Juvia, says that Anker's got some bad luck. You're up against an ice and water Kappa duo. A duo, yes, we're a duo. And that ends the chapter. Gray was literally about to say that him and Juvia were a couple. That is the closest we get to an actual freaking confession in front of Juvia. So, please, at the end of this fight, or in the middle of it, just have Gray confess his feelings for Juvia, because by doing so, with how magic works, with them being openly honest at the same time with their love for each other, that will boost their magic to an absurd degree. Mashima, please, stop jerking us around with this at this point. You basically confirmed it with Gray's dialogue and actions. Please. But yeah, that is the end of Chapter 207 of 100 Years Quest, as now all 5 Calamity Bloods now have their proper matchups. We basically have 3 1v1s, technically 4 at this point, and 1 team-up. Right now, Lucy is fighting against Rock Build by herself. We're definitely going to get the Mercphobia key right now, because that's a Chekhov's gun that needs to come into play at this point. And Wendy's pinned down, so Lucy can't have access to Dragon Slayer magic unless Wendy uses the enchantment, so that's off the table. She needs the Dragon Key to use that, and that's something I think we're all looking forward to seeing. Laxus is fighting Leviatha, so that's going to be cool. Laxus having 1v1 fights, I think we can all sit back and agree, you know what? Yeah, Laxus fighting against the dragon by himself. I need to see that. Even if we have complaints on these guys being strong and Fairy Tail taking them all down, it's frickin' Laxus. The guy's only been in 2 fights in 100 Years Quest. I don't care. If this is the final actual matchup in arc of 100 Years Quest, let Laxus have this fight. I don't give a damn at this point. Erza's fighting Mother Glare. Since Laxus is having his own fight, I'm alright with Erza having a solo fight against Mother Glare. Though again, I do want some cool combinations with her Celestial Body magic, her Dragon enchantments, and the rest of her magics. So I do hope that we at least make this more interesting for Mother Glare fights. Mira is seemingly being set up to 1v1 Scissor Runner. That's not going to last long. Mira's strong. And who knows, Majma might have seen my previous video on the disappointment of Mirajane as a character and the misuse of her that I made months ago. Go check that out if you haven't already. And maybe he's finally done just hating Mirajane and not giving her the proper shine and is like, you know what? Yeah, let's just give Mira a good fight. This is the end of the manga. Why the hell not? But I do honestly don't think that's happening. She'll put up a good fight. As good of a fight as she can. She won't deal any damage unless it's revealed that demons can do harm to dragons, which that would be really cool for a spin-off with Mirajane, as I've been wanting to see. But either way, I do see at least Gajiel, who definitely has a lot of stamina still left after his fight with Zero, because he didn't really use all of his strength against Zero, coming in and joining the fight with Mira, potentially with Elfman now that he has the Dragon Arm of Alderaan. And maybe the rest of the Sace will come in and this will be like a literal raid boss, and we'll see how that goes. And lastly, the fight against Anker is Gray and Juvia versus Anker. That's going to be an interesting matchup unless a Dragon Slayer shows up. Gray might not be able to fully defeat him, but remember, he took out Viernes by creating a new type of Devil Slayer magic to actually harm him. So, with Juvia's boost and their collective, feelings for each other, we could see Gray on the spot use the real essence of Maker Magic that has been expressed to us multiple times in Fairy Tail, and I even made a whole damn video explaining how Gray beat Viernes, even though I'm not happy with how things panned out to a degree and how it was done. I feel like this is Mashima's chance to actually flesh out more of Maker Magic and show Gray crafting a Dragon Slayer type of magic or a Demon Slayer magic that will actually affect anybody that he wants or bypass certain resilience. Either way, the possibilities are endless. I do kind of hope that we get a Dragon Slayer in that fight somehow, or at least have Gray create a Dragon Slayer enchantment with Ice Make Magic or something like that. I don't know. Things have to go in a certain way for that fight, because that's the only one that I don't see working out unless we do the Maker Magic stuff, same with Viernes again, or a Dragon Slayer showing up. So, that's the one fight I'm too unsure of in comparison to the other 4 fights. But you guys let me know in the comment section down below. All the setup's done, Ignia is off, and Natsu is out of the picture for the time being. Let me know your thoughts and opinions in the comment section down below on how you think things are going to go. And do you think the Saints are going to do something? Do you think Elysteria, who I forgot to mention the last couple of chapters, will show up again? Do you think Athena will come in and help? Or Diablos? God knows I need Diablos. But yeah, let me know your thoughts and opinions in the comment section down below. And once more, if you haven't already, like, subscribe, hit the notification bell for updates on future videos, hype up the video to boost in the algorithm so more people can see it. And with all that said and done, hope you all had an awesome day. Oh my god, I forgot Selene is there still. Oh man, we might get an Ignia-Selene rematch, and Ignia might absolutely destroy Selene. Why do I kind of want to see that fight now?